What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Young Guns podcast. So, Connor McDavid, you guys know who he is, right? I hope so. Well, he's the first player this season to score 30 goals. He has 32 goals and a total of 72 points already. And guess how many games? Only 38 games. How incredible is that?
Ridiculous.
With the likes of Jason Robertson, Eric Carlson, Tage Thompson having fantastic seasons, making headlines of being potential contenders for the Hart Trophy. With a guy like Connor McDavid in the league, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Connor McDavid will once again win the Hart Trophy. He has 72 points in 38 games. He's on pace for 160 points. The last person to do that was Mario Lemieux with 161 points in the 1995-1996 season. So, our question for you guys today is, can McDavid score 50 goals in 50 games? So, Luca, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, he's got 12 games to do it. He's at 32 goals this season. He needs 18 goals over his next 12 games. Now, I know people are going to talk about it's impossible, but listen, look at the teams that he's playing against. Okay, Seattle, who he just picked up, I believe, 2 goals against, or actually a hat trick, I believe, against Seattle, in their 7-2 win, literally like a couple of days ago. So he plays them twice, 2 more times before in the next 12 games. So I think that he could easily get a couple of goals against them. He's playing the Islanders, who you know are good but not the best when it comes to just their play this season. I think he can maybe get a goal against them. Colorado as well. A team that is dealing with a lot of injuries and getting them back. They've struggled a little bit defensively over the last couple of games. He may be able to do that against them. And then look, he's got LA, Anaheim, and San Jose in 3 straight games after that. Right, so those are teams that he's going to be playing against. He's also facing Columbus and Chicago to end his 12 games in the next 12 games. So out of those teams that I mentioned, I believe 7 of them are out of the playoffs or not as good. So you've got a situation here where Connor McDavid can easily do this, especially if he plays against the Anaheim, the San Jose, the LAs, right? And also Chicago and Columbus. Like those are 5 teams that, let's be honest, apart from LA, are not as good and probably aren't going to, thread the needle a little bit. He's also playing Vancouver, who we all know how bad they are defensively, right? So this is a player that I think is in a position here in a unique situation where he may be able to do something that we haven't seen in a long time. And just going up to the point total that you made before, he's got 72 points in 38 games, like you said. The second best player in the league is Leon Draisaitl with 57 points, which
Yeah.
means Connor McDavid has 15 more points than the second best player in the league points wise. It's
Well, McDavid
ridiculous.
at this point, in time, he could win the Rocket Trophy and the Hart Trophy right now,
Yeah.
based off,
Yeah.
the stats. So, I mean, look, Leon Draisaitl is dealing with an injury. We don't know how long or how serious it's going to be. So I mean, he could be a factor in potentially seeing whether or not McDavid scores 50 goals in 50 games. But players who've done it before, Maurice Richard, Mike Bossy, uh, Wayne Gretzky, did it on multiple occasions where he scored 50 goals in less than 50 games. Maybe McDavid could do the same thing. Mario Lemieux, Brett Hull, Yari Curry, um, Cam Neely, the list
Yeah.
goes on. There's so many players that have scored 50 goals in 50 games or 50 goals in less than 50 games. I don't think McDavid does it in less than 50 games, but who knows? Or Connor McDavid, the best player currently in the NHL and probably the best NHL player the best hockey player in the world right now,
Yeah.
or maybe ever. It depends on your stance. If Wayne Gretzky is the best player ever, or maybe you have someone else in mind. But anything is possible with Connor McDavid. I really, really think he could do it, and I think this is the year for him to do it. But at the end of the day, he's a player that's very humble. He doesn't really care about his personal stats. He's a player that wants to see his team succeed. He wants to see a Stanley Cup, right?
Yeah.
And with Evander Kane potentially making his return soon, hopefully we'll see how things are, if things are on track for him to make a return. If he could make a return, Draisaitl is fine. This guy could definitely do it. It all comes down to the players that surround him as
And
well.
I think people need to realize that look, we're not saying that he's going to do it because at the end of the day, scoring 18 goals in 12 games is not easy to do, right? It's not easy to do. It's a tough task, regardless of the teams that he's playing against. But because it's Connor McDavid, and because he's on a season where he's at a point in this season where he's about to potentially reach 160 points, anything is possible, right? And this is why we're making this video. We're making this video because it's Connor McDavid and he might break another record. And he might, not only break another record, he may shatter, the points totals for this season and make it basically impossible to catch up to 160 points in this modern era. Because just that alone, okay, the fact that he's even projected to get 160 points this season, that alone is ridiculous, right? Because that is something that we have not seen for a long time. And so to see Connor McDavid do what he's doing and how well he's playing and seeing where the Oilers are this season, because we have to take into consideration, forget about Connor McDavid, the Oilers are still struggling. So this is a team that this is a player at a team that is he's on a struggling team putting up these numbers. Like it's crazy to think about, saying that if the Oilers end up getting better, like is Connor McDavid going to literally do this? Because like I said before, Edmonton's what 2016-4, I believe, is the record. Something like that. Yeah, that's it. 2016-2. So the fact that they're 2016-2 and they've got Connor McDavid doing what he's doing is ridiculous. And so I'm not saying that it's gonna happen that he's gonna score 50 and 50. But listen, if there's anybody in the
Or
league that could,
less.
that's it, or less. If there's anybody in the league that can do it, or if there's anybody in the league that I see doing it, it's Connor McDavid. So
Especially to do something like this in the modern day era of hockey,
yeah,
or you're being compared to the greats like Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. That's fantastic company, and he's already been compared to Wayne Gretzky. There's a lot of similarities in terms of his game, but not only that, playing for the same team as well. That obviously there's always going to be comparisons between those two players until he stays there, but we definitely think Connor McDavid is the guy to do it, but we'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Edmonton Oiler fans, do you think your beloved Connor McDavid can do it and shatter yet another record? And, any fans of Connor McDavid, can he possibly do it? Are we reaching out for the stars here? Are we setting expectations that cannot be achieved? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And how many points does Connor McDavid finish with by the end of the 82 game schedule this year?
and
And
how
where
many
does
total goals is he gonna get too?
yeah, and
That's
how
the
many
other thing.
goals would he get? That would be a fantastic um thing to see if he could get, over, 60 goals. That would be fantastic. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Young Guns podcast.